Portraying George Harrison on Revolver is like watching a great artist still trapped in the long shadow of two towering giants. Yet, on the other, it still revealed how deeply he was marginalized within the Beatles' creative dynamic. John Lennon and Paul McCartney commanded the spotlight, shaping nearly every session with their bold ideas and endless confidence. George Harrison stood quietly in the shadows. He was a gifted musician, brimming with vision, yet still treated as though his contributions were secondary in the very band he helped define. On the surface, Revolver seemed to mark a personal victory for him. For the first time, Harrison placed 3 of his songs on a Beatles album, Taxman, a razor-sharp critique of the crushing British tax system. Love You Too, his daring leap into sitar and Indian classical traditions. And I Want to Tell You, a confession of frustration at being unable to fully express himself. 3 songs may not sound like much, but for Harrison, it was the largest slice of space he had ever been given on a Beatles record. Yet even that breakthrough underscored the imbalance he faced every day. Lennon and McCartney dominated the room, their partnership so firmly ingrained in the band's DNA that it was nearly impossible for anyone else to break through. George Martin, the trusted producer who often elevated their wildest concepts, naturally focused his energy on their work. Against this backdrop, Harrison's ideas were often brushed aside, treated not as essential but as curiosities, interesting diversions at best. This dismissive attitude was clearest in the reception to Love You Too. At the time, many listeners considered it strange, even alien, compared to the more familiar sounds of the Lennon-McCartney catalog. What they failed to see was that Harrison was laying the foundation for something extraordinary, the fusion of Western rock with Eastern music, a cultural bridge that would transform the sound of the 60s and beyond. In that moment, though, he was still cast as the third Beatle, his innovations too easily overshadowed. And yet, Revolver revealed something crucial. Beneath the dominance of Lennon and McCartney, George Harrison was beginning to emerge as an independent voice, sharp, daring, unafraid to challenge tradition. His songs may have been outnumbered, but they carried a weight that hinted at the brilliance waiting to be unleashed. The irony of Revolver is that it displayed both sides of Harrison's reality, his immense potential, and the stark reality of how little room he was given to flourish. He stood in the studio surrounded by some of the most dazzling ideas in modern music. Yet his own sparks were too often pushed to the corner, noticed only in passing. History would prove otherwise. With the breakup of the Beatles, Harrison's pent-up creativity exploded into full bloom, showing the world that he was never just a background figure. Revolver is remembered as a masterpiece of collective innovation, but hidden within it is the story of George Harrison, a visionary who, even in isolation, was quietly reshaping the future of popular music.